Welcome to NJCAA Hot Hoops, everyone. Kenya Landers and Dan Olson. We're ready to get into JUCO mid-January conference basketball at its finest. Good wins, tough losses. The big dog fell. Hutchinson undefeated for what seemed like forever since they were
Because it
36
was.
and 0 last year.
Yeah.
Um, they lost. They lost to Dodge City by a considerable margin. That might be a silver lining, Kenya.
Get it
You
off
never
your
know.
back. You know, it, the, and I know that I was shocked. I will say I was shocked that they came up short. I was definitely shocked by the score. But I mean, they lost to a good team. Like it's
Yeah.
not like they lost um to a bunch of scrubs, or it was like a huge upset game. And I think dropping to 5 is a little much. I think that was a little harsh. I don't think that they should have dropped that far. But I don't get votes either. So,
Right.
but um, you know, I still think they're such a strong contender. And they're gonna keep battling. He's gonna have them ready.
No doubt. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you ain't lying when it comes to that. He's going to have them ready.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, let's go over the top 20 poll that came out yesterday. There's a familiar name there at the top of the poll. Northwest Florida State,
Guess
undefeated.
who's back?
Yeah,
Back again.
there they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And although New Mexico lost, what, 10 days or so ago to South Plains at the buzzer,
Yeah.
they're 19 and 1 and they're laying at number 2 right now.
Yeah.
So, in a school that we haven't talked a lot about, that we probably need to spend a little more time on it moving forward because they're going to be there. It's Three
Mm-hmm.
Rivers. They're at number 3, 15 and 2. They've played a good schedule thus far.
Yeah.
Um, but and then we got the Conks of Dodge City. They're at 4 before we find Hutch at 5.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, we've had some other shifts there in the top 20. Um, Chipola keeps it rolling. They're
What
20 and
does
0.
Chipola have to do to move up significantly?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
come
undefeated.
on. They're undefeated. Like, and they're not ducking people. They are playing a legit schedule. Like, what is happening with that?
Yeah, they should be at like 2.
No question.
Yeah, 2 maybe 3. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got Wabash Valley at 16 and 2. The magician over there, Luke, he's making it happen. And and then our friends at McLennan down there in Waco, still unscathed at 15 and 0, which we had expected to happen,
Mm-hmm.
that to happen as we'd been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And Gulf Coast 15 and 2 at number 9, and Shelton State. Now,
Busted on in there.
Madonna, she's solid. She's 16 and 2. She's played good competition in her
Yeah.
off her early season games. She hasn't ducked people either. Um, I think she had a mission when she left last season out in Casper, Wyoming, after getting beat, saying to herself she ain't gonna do that again. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and so we'll see. We'll see how it all unfolds. But Arizona Western, they're up to number 14 in the poll. They're 15 and 2 this week. And we have Chelsea Dewey on our hot seat spot today.
Yeah.
She's the head coach at Arizona Western. We're going to talk to her about her 15 and 2 team in her second year there in Yuma. But a thing that I wanted to touch a base on too is that we've got 3 teams in the state of Arizona, Division One, that are ranked in the
Right.
poll. Cochise at 21, Eastern Arizona, excuse me, at 17, and then AZ Western at 14. Um, but you got 2 other teams in that state that are Division Two teams that are ranked.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good state for basketball, junior college basketball.
They're trying to get a little Florida action,
Yeah,
Florida action with all the teams being ranked and bringing it. I
Yeah,
mean, they are bringing it. I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. I love it.
I am too. I'm a fan. I'm anxious every day to look at the scores and see what's happened,
Yeah,
because it's starting to get interesting.
yeah.
The Division Two top five, the four of the top five remained undefeated still. Okay. With Kirkwood, the defending national champion, 19 and 0, the national runner-up, Johnson County, 18 and 0, Essex, New Union, both undefeated as well. But then here's Mesa. Mesa's moved into the five spot. Now they're 14 and 6, but she got a good team at Mesa. You know?
Absolutely. She's played some good competition. She's
Yeah.
played a good schedule. So it's not like those are six bad losses, obviously, because she's in the top five in the country. So
Right, right. Lincoln Land, who was five, fell to 18 and 1. They're number 9 this week after being the number 5 team, but they lost to Illinois Central by about 9 last week. So,
drastic again. Drastic again.
yeah.
That's a big
Um,
drop.
yeah.
I want to talk to these people. I got questions. Not really.
Pima, another Division two team in the state. They're number 10 in the Division two poll.
Yeah.
Both of those teams were national tournament participants last year at the Division two national tournament. Both showed out well. And no surprise that they're still in it, and doing what they're doing now. So, um, why don't we talk about some winners and losers here? We had a bunch of winners, but we had some losers now.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Three Rivers, Wabash Valley, McLennan, Shelton State, and College of Southern Idaho, and Arizona Western. Um, like all these people went 2-0. Florida Southwestern, Pearl River, Walter State, Coffeyville ran the table. Panola doing their thing in Region 14, Casper, and then East Georgia State went 3-0. So you got people that are rolling, and they're in the thick of it, right? So it's
Yeah.
not like that they're playing preseason games where they're scheduling games and JV games. I mean, they are rolling in the thick of it. And then you got some people that came up a little short this week. This past week, Pensacola went 0-2. It's a surprise. Went 0-2. Williston State 1-2. Trinity Valley dropped one. South Plains dropped one, and then Moberly went 0-2. So, it's we got teams that are battling. I mean, obviously dropping a game here and there, it's not hurting you too bad. Three Rivers is, up there with 2 losses, and then you got. I mean, it's just gonna be. It's about to start doing this.
Yeah. I
It's
think you're
about to
right.
be like a slinky, and all the
We got
teams are
some
about to start
disruptors in
bouncing.
this that we just
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. Well,
Yeah,
Pearl River, we haven't talked a lot about,
we
but they're
haven't.
they're one of the better teams in the country. Walter State, Coffeyville's causing problems out there in Kansas. They got some significant success lately, but you got Panola and Casper. The list goes on and on. But yeah, they're throwing a wrench into this thing.
Yep.
So um, yeah, before we go to break, let's talk about some of the scores and the assist makers that are out there in JUCO land.
Yeah.
Uh, that no surprise to either one of us, as we've had this theme from day one, is the guards seem to be so dominant in the game at this point. And Kenijah Daniel, a transfer guard from Georgia Southern, who's currently at Chipola, a
Mm.
5'9" athlete, can put the ball in the hole. She's number 4 nationally in scoring at 21.3. Um, she's getting it done. Shamir Quimby, that we've talked about before at Miami-Dade. She's a little motorboat, but she's a gunslinger now.
Yeah.
She's number 6, averaging 20 and a half a game. And then Samantha Serrano, these kids are all Florida players.
Yep.
19.1. She's a freshman, number 11 in the country scoring. a 5'10" two guard. Um, and then we go to the assist pool, and Divine Harris, one of the star players for Arizona Western, averaging 5.6 assists a game. And then Sarah Dreesen from Garden City at 6. She's kind of making that thing go for Greg Franklin.
Yep.
And then Talia Kemp at Pensacola averaging 5 a game. Talia was a Robert Morris signee, but elected to change up and go JUCO. But a Florida player that can hoop, and score it, dish it. So there's some names of some kids that have really kind of solidified themselves thus far in the JUCO world, doing well. So,
Yep.
hey, look, when we come back, we're going to talk some rewind and go over the past week of what we saw in JUCO women's basketball here on NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We are back. NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya and Dan Olson. Kenya, let's talk some rewind of the previous week.
Take it back.
Yeah, and look, New Mexico did a little rebound. Number 2 in the country now.
Mhm.
They knocked off number 19 Odessa. Odessa's a dangerous team all the time.
No question.
Because Q over there gives you heavy pressure all 40 minutes. You got to take care of the ball. And they must have done that, And our girl Casey Antonio, one of the elite guards in all of JUCO, led the way for New Mexico. 15
7
points.
boards though. 7 boards.
7
That's
boards.
impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah. Amia Sutton had 19. She had 6 threes. So
Find her.
yeah.
Put your hand up.
Hand up.
She's on fire.
Back in the day, knock her down. Okay. She'll think about it. Yeah.
Push her down.
But over the years of New Mexico being in the national tournament, and they'll admit to this, their Achilles heel has always been the 3-point shot and being able to bury those jump shots. I think they may have fixed the problem because Sutton can stroke it. Jada Graves, good little point guard, she can knock shots down. Antonio can knock shots down. Even Panya Davis can step out and knock down the 3. So, they got to make it happen because it's going to have to happen. It's going to have to be, in order for them to advance, they've got to be able to hit the 3.
No question.
Now, for Odessa, they've got a freshman player that's legit, Armanda Joaquin. 23-7 on New Mexico. This is a impact freshman wing, about 6'1", versatile defender, rebound it, handle it, make shots. She got a drive to her now. She likes to get to that hoop.
She can legit do anything.
Yeah.
She has a total package game.
Yeah, she has turned it on.
Yes, she has.
I agree. Let's talk about number 6, Chipola. They knocked out Gulf Coast at home. So Chipola moves to 6. Gulf Coast moves to 9. And the reason is Kanesia Daniel. 24, 6 boards and 4 assists, including 4 threes. Now this is a really athletic guard that can hunt down her shot,
Yeah.
You can't find a bunch of kids that can do that, but they forced, they out-rebounded Gulf Coast, surprisingly, 60-34. That right there is the game, okay?
Right. Yeah, no question.
But they turned the ball over 18 times, too. And
they even themselves out.
Yeah. but
Second
then
chance
Tivoli,
shots.
they attempted 20 more shots. So you're going to win in one of those two things, you know.
Yeah.
But all said and done, Gulf Coast still had four players in double figures, and they've got a horse inside, Genevia Gage, who was a transfer from Weatherford actually last year. She's a Texan. She had 13 and 7. That's a 6'2", 6'3" low block player. Uh, Not super polished in her finishing game, but she is an inside presence that can make it happen some, you know. So um, it'll be interesting to see round two and round three of those two, you
Mhm.
know, as they continue in the tough panhandle. Um, you know, we're going to have Chelsea Dewey on here shortly, who's our guest on the hot seat, but
Yeah.
they had a big win against Eastern Arizona,
Mhm.
54-40. They beat them. So Arizona Western moved to 14 again, Eastern at 17. And our highlight player of the season thus far, Naomi
Zoom,
Zanzan.
zoom. She's zoom, zoom.
Zoom Zoom had 29 and 7.
Yeah.
This
Big
is a
time.
girl that can really go get her shot,
Yeah.
okay? And she's averaging 16, but 38% from 3-point land. That's interesting.
Not missing.
Yeah.
Not missing.
Tell you
And I
what,
bet you she's taking great shots.
yeah,
She's not taking
not
any bad
hurried.
shots. Yep.
Divine Harris, her cohort in the backcourt, added 15. Together, they scored 44 of the 54 points in their game. You talk about backcourt dominance, you
No
know.
question.
But Zoom Zoom, she kind of plays wherever she needs to play, you know.
The 4, the 5, the 2,
Yeah,
3. She'll just
whatever
go
it takes.
wherever. Yep. I like it.
Sarah Dang, a Florida signee for Eastern Arizona, she was the only one that showed up. She put up 10 for Eastern.
She needs some help.
I'll bet you that'll happen. I'll bet you that changes.
No question.
Yeah. You know, someone that's kind of new to the game, Murray State. They've been
Mm,
ranked. They knocked out Northern Oklahoma Tonkawa pretty good, 92-54 the other day. But they've got balance in their team. They have five players that were in double figures.
yeah.
And a player that we've mentioned in last week's show, Arissa Garcia,
Yeah.
14 points with 15 rebounds at the guard spot. Did you do that?
Nah, man. I was trying to get the outlet so we can go the other way.
Let somebody else do that rebounding.
Yeah, that
I
wasn't
want to
me.
get out and run.
It wasn't me.
I got you. Number one, Northwest Florida State, back in the saddle. They're a 76-53 winner over Pensacola. Um, Kyla McBride. Now, that's a player that doesn't necessarily show up for him on the stat line, but she's an integral part of his success. A 6'1" kind of a wing, plays in and out. She had 22 in the win. And of course, Makia Chase, one of his star guards for Bart, had 19 points, 9 to 10 from the free throw line. Don't foul her. Yeah. Um, Jada McDonald, who we talked about, I think, last week,
Yeah.
that bouncy 6 foot forward for Pensacola, she had 13 and 9 in the loss. So, um, you know, it's tough to beat somebody when they outscore you by 14 baskets. But, you know, Penny Belford is used to this. She's 0-2 for the week. She knows
Mhm.
she's in a dogfight every night, and they figure it out. So they'll be competitive. They'll figure it out. They'll be right there at the end,
Yeah.
you know. So the big win for anybody this week was the Dodge City game versus Hutch. I mean, they blew out Hutch 67-41.
Uh,
Yeah, Shorna Preston has been impressive for Dodge during the long haul this season, and she was as well the other night. She had 17 and 11 rebounds, 6 steals, and 4 blocks. That was an impressive night, you know.
Very much so.
11 for 29 from the deep, from 3-point land. Um, Haley Jackson, she was the only one that showed up, it seemed, for Hutch, as they were only 2 for 27 from behind the arc. That hurt. But she had
Yeah.
17 for the Blue Dragons.
Mhm.
But then, as you allude to these trap games, you know, here's Dodge having this huge win in state, number one, knocks them off. Then they go play Coffeyville and get beat by 63-60.
Hey, 24-hour rule, good or bad, 24-hour rule. You gotta let it go.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's probably what happened.
Mhm. Coffeyville had 4 in double figures. Tony Turner, he does a great job. Used to be on the men's side. Um, he's consistent. He's consistent. Beats the conquistadors, the deflated conquistadors. So it's a battle in the Jayhawk.
Man, that conference, it's so interesting. All of like the Florida, the Kansas, now the Arizona, where they're having to play each other, 3 times before they even get to their conference tournament, I think, right? So then you got to beat somebody 4 times, if I'm correct. I mean, it's different. It's a different animal, and I remember when I was playing, people in Florida or California, and they would say, y'all cheat, y'all only have to play each other twice, and then you get to play the same people to go to the national tournament. And I'm like, I thought it was hard to beat somebody 3 times, let
Yeah.
alone play somebody 4 times and not know everything that each other are doing.
Oh yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. One last game before we go to break. Clarendon. We didn't talk about Clarendon at all, but they're receiving votes now, and they knocked off South Plains. Here, South Plains beats New Mexico, comes back out, and they lose to Clarendon. But Clarendon now, he's got a couple of players now. Clarendon, I need to get out there and watch him. But here's a name that we haven't talked about that was dominant. Armanda Sindalawa. She's from Angola, a freshman wing, about 6'1", 25, 12, and 7 assists in the win. That is a player on the rise among the freshman JUCO players in the country. They hit 14 threes, Clarendon, in that game. So that's someone I gotta go get and watch. I gotta go back and watch.
Let me tell you something. That program is getting going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a time, no disrespect, when Clarendon didn't hit 14 threes for an entire season.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just repeatedly being mentioned and battling in the rankings. And it's been fun to watch them just continue to evolve. And I know they've had a few, some good teams here and there, but like consistently, they're doing a good job over there. They're doing a really good job.
Over the last, say, 4 or 5 years, Clarendon has always had a player, a post player, a forward, someone that has like, where'd this kid come from?
Right. How did they get that kid
What is she
there?
doing out there? So it doesn't surprise me that this has happened, but he's got himself a star. Mark James does.
Yep.
But South Plains, their star player, freshman that is, they've got a few, but Isabel Joy had 22, 6 boards, 4 assists in the loss. But this is another interesting team, Clarendon, that could throw this thing all in a mess, because we don't really talk about them. We talk about Odessa, we talk about New Mexico, South Plains. Okay, now we got a new one coming in,
We're giving them bulletin board material.
Yeah.
Their coaches are like, they don't even mention y'all.
Yeah.
Get them fired up.
There you go.
Get them fired up.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about next week's games. And I'll bet you they're going to be as good as this previous week's games when we come back on NJCAA Hot Hoops. We're back. Kenya Landers and Dan Olson. Let's talk upload, Kenya. We've got some interesting games. Miami-Dade is going to go down up to Eastern Florida State. Eastern Florida and Miami-Dade have quietly been doing some good things. You know, Miami-Dade's got a dynamic backcourt. They've got a rising power forward center, Susan Summons does. Eastern Florida, she's been kind of laying in the weeds. She's been getting her wins. She's been doing it quietly. That'll be an interesting game as we move forward.
Yeah.
Panola, who has been 2-0 this week, visits Tyler, who has kind of resurrected themselves.
They got some people back.
Yeah. So that will be an interesting game as well in Texas basketball. As will the Garden City Dodge game. If you remember back, Garden City went, was it Dodge? No, I can't remember if that was Hutch. That was Hutch. That'll be a February game, I believe, where Garden City plays Hutch at home. So, but Garden City Dodge, not too far apart from each other necessarily. That'll be an interesting game. Dodge City's got to get themselves back where they, don't worry about the up and downness, the trap stuff. So we'll see how it plays out. But Eastern Arizona visits Cochise. That's a tough game. And so both of those teams need a win.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. But then we've got Gulf Coast at number 1, Northwest Florida State on the 23rd of this month. Okay. My guy, John McAllister is going to be there. He is the Gulf Coast guy. So I'm sure he will be giving me a report as to all things going on in that game.
Play by play.
Yeah. He's my guy. So he's digging out of his snow.
Put us in a group chat.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Listen, when we come back, we're going to talk with Chelsea Dewey. She's the head coach at Arizona Western. She is making things happen. She's got a dynamite team, and she is a fireball. So, let's talk with Chelsea Dewey when we come back on our hot seat with NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Welcome back to NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya Landers and Dan Olson, our special guest, Chelsea Dewey, head women's coach at Arizona Western College. Welcome to the show, Chelsea. We're delighted to have you.
Man, thank you for having me. It's an honor. Glad to be here.
Well, you have done a remarkable job, in the 2 years that you've been there 2 years, correct?
Total of 5, but 2 years of head coach.
There you go. 21-10 last year. You're well on your way this year. You've had some impressive wins. And Kenya, we've talked about Arizona JUCO here in the shows throughout. And I don't know what they're doing down there, but there's some good basketball in Arizona for the junior college. Both the Division II side and the Division I side, flip a coin, doesn't matter. They're getting it done. So, tell us about your team. Where do we start? Can you take it off from here?
Yeah, I just want to know about the squad. I want to know about this awesome recruiting that you've been doing to get these players in there. Just, second year as head coach. Yeah, so last year I'm sure was a bit of a whirlwind. You've gotten a chance to kind of get your bearings this year. So just talk to us about your approach and your squad and how everything's going.
First off, it's Patrick Cunningham that gave me the opportunity to be a head coach when I was an assistant. So I got to kind of make an easy transition to be a head coach. Recruiting is the toughest part, but that also makes you a good coach if you can get the right pieces and then get the right pieces to combine together, and it's all about the team at the end of the day. I've just been fortunate enough to have great kids in this program, kids that want to work hard, that want to get better. It's really all the kids work at the end of the day. I just find the right buttons to push and how to get them the ball in the hoop. It's been a pleasure. Honestly, have some really good pieces this year. I can't talk enough. My point guard is tough as nails. Then I have a, off-brand four player that's just a high energy kid that can just go get a bucket anytime.
I
And
like
then I
that
have
off-brand.
she
I don't know if I've
hey,
heard that one.
Off-brand. I'm gonna use that.
I don't
I'm going to make that new terminology for us from now on.
I don't know. She's just she'll do whatever I needed to do. Like she played the five for us when we played Mesa. She played, 2, 3, all of them. So she just wants to win, and I love that about her. She don't care. She plays bigger than her height. And then I have a 5 player that's just really talented and can't say enough about them. And I just have really good shooting. These kids just do the things. They don't look to par, but man, they want to win, and I love that.
Hey, looking the part and all that, it's good and it's shiny, but it's about your players and it's about what they bring to the table and how they compete every day in practice, day in and day out. So tell me about your path to this point. Where did you start out coaching? I know you were there for 3 years as an assistant. Was that your first stop, or just tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so I went to Hutchinson Junior College, played for John Onchess, so got to go there. Then transferred out after 1 year, went to play for Mo West.
Okay.
Was there for 3 years, and then I did my graduate assistant with Missouri Western as a strength conditioning coach and women's basketball coach. So I got to tail both worlds. That was crazy because now Greg Carbon's with the Chiefs as the strength conditioning coach, and then Rob Anderson ended up retiring.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of where I was. I got to shadow Candy Whitaker. That was at Texas Tech, and now
That's my
she's
girl, Candy. We go way
yeah.
back. Yeah.
So I got to experience Candy Whitaker. Man, that was a great experience.
That's a good way to put it. You got to experience Candy Whitaker.
Oh, so no, she was wonderful. Now she's
Yeah.
at North Alabama and things like that. So I've had a really good trail of coaches that I've got to learn from. And then COVID happened, didn't know what I was doing. My best friend played for Coach Cunningham, and she gave Coach Cunningham a call, and I took the 22-hour drive to Arizona, and I've been here ever since, and it's just kind of taken off from there.
Love that.
Oh, wow. Arizona Western over the long haul. I mean, let's give props to Patrick Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
He had some really talented players over the long haul. Every once in a while, he'd show up at the national tournament, but he was almost like a spoiler at times. But that was back during the time of the Central Arizona dominance.
Yeah.
And but boy, I mean, times have changed. Chelsea, you've beaten Eastern Arizona twice. I know you got to play them 3 times, but you've had some signature wins. You've beaten Cochise so far. You've beaten Southern Idaho, Odessa. Those are all ranked teams. So, yeah, I mean, when I watched you play in practice way back when, it seems like a year ago. I knew that you had some good stuff going on there. But then when I watched you again right prior to Christmas, you were impressive the way your team played, and they kind of fed off of each other. And tell us about our favorite named player of the year, Naomi Zanzan. Well, let's just call her Zanzan, okay? Because I can't.
Zoom.
Do that.
Um,
How did Naomi find her way to Arizona Western?
So that's also with the help of UC Irvine. UC Irvine needed some help, and they trusted me to take her on and develop her for a year. And holy smokes, is that kid special? She had the right mindset, happy every day. There is no bad days for that kid. Her motor always goes. She's some wild at times, but like man, she gets better as the game goes on, and it's just impressive to watch how she competes. It's just like so fun to watch, and I hope every kid just watches her and how she enjoys to play and compete, no matter bad or good. She's just like going, and I love it.
Yeah, unleashed talent. Can score on any level on the floor. Great size, physical to the rim. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Naomi. Tell her
Yes,
that.
100%. Love
Like
that
that.
kid. That's one of the kind type of kid right there. Just the mindset that she has every single day, and she's just about the team too. It's just crazy. Really good teammate, and just things like that.
You don't have any true definite size on your team, really, but they all seem to kind of know their role. I think that's a tribute to you, the way you coach your girls. I've seen you in your practice setting. You're into it, You're not sitting on the sidelines. You're demonstrating. You're into it. That's impressed me along the way as you've gone. Um, I think that yeah, you're causing havoc. What you're doing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming out to support Arizona Western women's basketball. I mean, I know our whole conference loves it. Our whole conference deserves their prize too. I mean, we have some really good talent. We have two SEC kids in our conference.
Yeah.
Coach Cheese is doing well. So like, there is some really good talent out here, and Southern Idaho is also really good. Odessa's really good. We had Oregon State out here watching those girls. So like, there is talent that we played, and I just want these girls to be loving to compete, and then win, and what it takes to win the big games. Like, it's good to win 100 and something, but man, those big games when you come out on top, it's just nothing matches it.
Yeah. That's where it's at. So talk to us about your practices. So what's your practice like? I mean, I can tell by just talking to you, it's upbeat, it's got juice, it's got energy. But what are some major things that you guys make sure that you focus on, master, dominate, and practice so that it carries over to the game?
So we play a lot of live, competing for sure. We do some fundamental things so they know where the ball needs to go, how it gets there, how to stop, and things like that. But it's really competing, and you got to play live. I learned that from Onches. Honestly, we played a lot of live, and we're just getting up and down and how to compete in the live setting, and then we just show them what they can learn the most. That's the test before the test.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta learn how to compete. You gotta be able to compete in practice before you can compete in the games. And I remember my JUCO days, those practices, man, we went at it. And if somebody walked in the gym, they thought it was a fight going on, like we had a problem. But we're just like, no, we're just trying to get ready we're trying to get ready to win this natty. But it's hard for a lot of people to, number one, get that out of their kids on a day in and day out basis. And then it's also difficult to really figure out how to push them that far in the level of competing and still maintain that family atmosphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll see me before practice, after practice, I'm laughing with the girls. Like, I am really intense. I probably got that from Rod Edmondson. I'm probably a little too intense
Good
at this
overall.
age. And so I got to give the balance that, hey, it's not personal. I'm just trying to push you because there is more in there. If I wasn't pushed, I wouldn't be the player I was or the coach I was. So just trying to find that balance even in this new age of
Yeah.
how you can push kids. Because at the end of the day, it is that the kids, well, they're over us a little bit, but I'm just grateful these kids let me push them to a point I get to push them to.
Yeah. That means you went out and got the right kids for your program and for your coaching style. Because, I mean, you can go out and get an All-American that can score 25 a game, but if she doesn't want to be coached the way you want to coach and be pushed the way you want to push, she's not going to work out in your system. So kudos to you for getting the right kids for you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, who do you have coming up?
We have Yavapai on Saturday. So,
Okay. Have you played them yet?
yes, we played them at home.
Okay.
So they're just in a rebuilding year. Got a new coach. She's doing some really good things, but they're just not there yet. But hey, they're still competitive.
Yep, understood. As you move forward here, in your 3-game thing that you've got going within your league, just like the Panhandle in Florida, do you approach the next game that you play with Eastern Arizona differently than the way you have the previous two? The same with Cochise, the same with those other schools that you're going to play against. any different wrinkles?
I think we're always just trying to get better in our offense so that we can't get stagnant. I mean, Eastern and coaches have guarded us really good. It's hard for us to score at times. So like just trying to keep building that we don't ever get stuck. I mean, Eastern tried to hug our shooters and get it in other people's hands. And then coaches they're just huge. It's hard to score on them. And then like they're just tough physically on the defensive end. For us, we got to just battle because we're so small. So like it just takes a lot out of us in a different way. We just struggle, but we're just trying to make sure we're ready for whatever they throw at us. I don't want us to be confident that, hey, we did beat them, but they're always going to try to do something different too. So we got to be ready for what's next.
Understood.
Awesome.
You know, it's amazing, Kenya, that over the long haul of the years I've watched JUCO, how like Georgia at one point was awful. Okay. Had one team that would come to the national tournament. They would play Central Arizona, get whacked by 50 and go home, right? Where that then changed with South Georgia Tech, Georgia Highlands becoming pretty darn good, national top 10 teams. Now it's fallen off again, but here's Arizona, who had one pretty much the dominant team. Arizona Western was good, but not good enough to beat Lynn Larson back in the day. But now you have these teams there now that it's a dogfight, and it's interesting to see how this will all unfold. And I'm anxious to see how it plays out. Where do you play your region tournament?
We play them at the host site, so whoever's number one seed, so top seed, we play them at our campus. So it's not like region, the other region where they go to a common site.
Yeah.
We play them at our home sites.
Well, more added incentive.
That's right. That's right.
So
get that home court advantage a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what we're fighting for.
Well, if you grind it out, babe, you got it.
We're trying. CSN's up there. College of Southern Nevada, they're pretty talented. Cochise is talented. There's a big one tonight. Eastern and Cochise at Cochise. So that's a good one. And then Central is competitive. I mean, don't.
Yeah, no, Central Arizona's got good guard play. And you're right. We forgot about the dark horse out of this whole thing is Southern Nevada, the new part of your league. They've got some nice pieces. That guy does a really nice job of coaching his team.
He does a really good job.
Sleep. None of you guys can sleep. You gotta be ready.
Yes, definitely on the road. Road wins are the hardest wins, so you got to make sure you're ready at all times.
Yeah.
Kenya, anything else?
No, just man, thank you so much for taking time out. We know you're so busy. We know you got, you're the academic. You got to set up study hall. You got to get the laundry done. We know you got a lot of things you got to do living in that JUCO world that we both just love and respect so much. So, just thanks for what you're doing for the game of women's basketball. Stay motivated, stay strong, keep doing what you're doing because you're making a huge difference for these kids that are leaving your program.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, and I hope you the best as well.
Thank you. Thanks.
Chelsea Dewey, Arizona Western's head coach. Chelsea, best of luck to you moving forward. We're anxious to see how you do, and go get it. Go get it done.
Thanks
again for being here.
Have a good day, guys.
You too.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
Okay, we're back with NJCAA Hot Hoops and a special guest with us.
Hi.
The world gets to meet Nellie Lou. And what kind of a dog is Nellie Lou?
Sorry. Nellie Lou is a mini golden doodle. And she's mad about something. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, we won't keep you long, Nellie Lou. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's throw a reminder at everybody.
Yeah.
The NJCAA National Tournament for Division I, back in Casper, Wyoming.
Back
again
in
for the
Casper.
last year, the second year in the last year.
Oh.
The 26th of March through April 1. It'll be on ESPN for streaming,
Mm-hmm.
and I will be there. And the D2 national tournaments in Joplin, Missouri, on the campus of Missouri Western, and that's where they had it last year. And that's like, I believe, the week before, like the 16th through the 22nd of March.
Yeah.
And I'll be there for that as well.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so, our mailbag, did you get any mailbag questions?
You know, people are starting to ask for names again.
Okay.
So I guess we can start throwing some names out um, from us, our viewers, as to who they think the best JUCO players are over the last 10 years. And I feel like we keep doing this, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. But if anybody knows the best, it would be
We want to
you.
hear from you. We want to hear from
Me.
you, the people that are
Oh,
listening today. Players, coaches, fans in general.
yeah.
Who's your best JUCO player over the last 10 years?
JUCO player of the last 10 years. I don't know.
I mean, I'd have to say it's got Danielle Adams got to be high on the food chain.
Is she last 10 years?
Maybe she's longer. It seems like she hasn't, but maybe
I
she
know.
hasn't.
I mean, we're old. Like, you know, like I've been out of coaching longer than 10 years and I recruited her.
I have to look back. We're going to go through that next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll find a couple of names to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some feedback from some people in respect
We
to
will. We
who they've
will.
had on their teams or people, fans in general that have seen some of the great players that's throughout the country in JUCO women's basketball.
Yeah, I'm really good. I don't like to just throw names. I really want to think about this because yeah, I'm going to think about this. Me and Nelly will talk it over.
Yeah. I will throw a couple of names that could
Okay.
come to mind that were twins.
Peter.
Andrell and Andrea Smith at
Peter.
Gulf Coast Community.
Yep.
They went on to play at University of South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They were dynamic guards that knew how to win, put up points, but they were unselfish. They were competitors beyond belief. Really tough, hard-nosed kids.
Yeah.
And they went on to have great careers at South Florida, and now in their private life they've done well. So those are two names that I would go off the top of my head. I think that's the last 10 years. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's hard to like without looking, without it all runs together sometimes too. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to researching this and getting some good names. I will have them ready next week.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Send us off, Kenya.
All right. Thanks everybody for being with us today. We had such a great time with Chelsea on the show today, and it's been so fun watching the polls go from perfection to some slight imperfections. But we'll be back next week, back on our regular schedule next week, and so we look forward to seeing all you guys. So from Kenya and Dan on JUCO Hot Hoops, we will see you guys next week.